Big demands made by the incoming Manchester United manager as several players are not part of his plans, according to what we've seen being revealed by sources close to the talks ongoing between Ruben Amorim and Manchester United. Meanwhile, Ruud van Nistelrooy has made it clear he's determined to stay in his assistant manager contract and role as he wants to see it out as he supports the team to build the Manchester United team back to where it's supposed to be. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. Let's get it. Quick updates about the team and what's going on now. There's been a report that has been making rounds about how Ruben Amorim has made it clear that 4 players for the start are not part of his plans for Manchester United, and he wants them to leave at the next available opportunity. Now, the players in question are one of the guys you see there, Casemiro. To many, the fans voted him as man of the match in our win over Leicester City. Some will tell you Bruno, others could tell you Ugarte. It was a good performance from him. That's the whole point. And this is the guy who has taken a lot of flack for poor performances before, especially if you recall against Liverpool. But listen, Amorim, according to what we get, again, there is no reason for me to confirm that this is 100% true, but there's also no reason for me to doubt because all the things we've had have been coming from sources. So it's possible that this could be so. That Casemiro is not in his plans for the team. Anthony Dos Santos is not in his plans for Manchester United. Neither is Victor Lindelof and Christian Eriksen. Those are the 4 players, at least, that Ruben Amorim apparently has made clear he wants to leave the team. Now, that's it's not entirely surprising because first of all, a player like Christian Eriksen, we know that his contract is running out in the summer next in the next coming summer. We know it's the same with Victor Lindelof. We do know that Casemiro will be going within 1 year of his contract. By the time we get into the summer, maybe Casemiro could perhaps soldier on a little and stay a little longer. I don't think his departure is quite obvious. For Anthony, got long contract, but we know that even Ineos do not really have him in their long-term plans. They actually want to dish him out as early as January and send him out on loan, either back to Ajax or wherever, whoever it shows interest in him. So they are not really your surprises, but of course, it's a bit odd that this young new manager is coming in and before he touches down, he's already sending in instructions of which players would want to leave. You're thinking you don't even know how these players relate with the team, or you've not really seen them from within. It doesn't really send a good signal to the rest of the players, even those who could stay. If you make instructions from a distance about a player, players who have been quite important for the team, especially a player like Casemiro, from whom so many young players will have a lot to learn from. So it sort of looks different. But you see, where Man United is headed, we know is when you're rebuilding, I think Ineos now have made the bold moves now to give the team their identity. They won't really care about massaging egos and making certain people feel good. It's all about performance and result, and clearly Ruben Amorim knows that. So if he feels that these are players who cannot handle the intensity of his game, that we certainly know is high, the demands of his press, certainly it's no surprise that we'd want to see them out for me. So that's pretty much what has come through in terms of players and what Ruben Amorim will be hoping or expecting to get out of them upon arrival as boss at Manchester United. Ruud van Nistelrooy has also spoke about him, and he was asked whether he has spoken to Ruben Amorim, and of course his answer was, has he been confirmed? We'll wait to see and stuff. But he saw Eric Ten Hag around on Monday before the game. He spoke to him as well, and I apparently Ten Hag loved the club and he's proud of the success he achieved. But I think now we can completely move on from Eric Ten Hag and focus on the new guy. So Ruud van Nistelrooy most likely will stay as one of the assistants, plus the 4 guys who will come with Ruben Amorim, according to the confirmation that we got earlier on. So the thing is, Ruben Amorim, I think, has a good base to start from now. Whereas it might be true that Casemiro and the other 3 guys I've spoken about are not in the long-term plans of the team. I think Ruben Amorim will still have a good base to start his rebuild from. From Manuel Ugarte in the middle, Kobe Maino. Talk about Sekou Kone. We are talking Alejandro Garnacho, who is, I think, only one of two under 21 kids to score, to have 9 goal contributions this season. I'm talking him and Lamine Yamal. You're talking players like Amad Diallo, who looked as happy as he ever been. Then you look at Lenny Yoro, I think, and we're talking of a manager who is good with young kids. You're thinking, what Ineos have done is they have got a manager for their project. Remember, Sir Jim Ratcliffe made it clear that his intention was always to focus on the youngsters and make stars, make brilliant players of the so many youngsters we have at the team. His was to give them the best training and support to maximize their potential so that in a few years, Man United has players that Real Madrid will want to come for. That big clubs, of course, there are not so many bigger than United, but big clubs would want to come in and pay big money for. That's what he's trying to do. That instead of going into the market and and signing the already made Kylian Mbappes, why don't you make your own Kylian Mbappes? So they feel Amorim is that manager. So the 2.5 years that he will sign with an option of a further year basically mostly to focus on helping the youngsters. And that's why instantly him coming to and instantly letting go of the old timers who certainly will be there to who will overshadow the youngsters, and yet he doesn't have a lot of time to build them. I think it does not really shock you. It makes a lot of sense because if for as long as Casemiro, Eriksen, and Lindelof are there, these so-called senior players, for as long as they are there, it's always going to be difficult for any manager, a manager who is almost within their age bracket, to make tough decisions to bench them. For example, how easy can it be for Amorim to bench Casemiro when Casemiro is there? You understand? So I think there are certain sacrifices that make sense, whereas Casemiro has shown us that he can give us some good minutes. It does not entirely shock me that Amorim would want to see him out, and I think just focus on the youngsters and give them the opportunities, but also for himself to give himself a good atmosphere to make his decisions without fear of the big egos in the dressing room. So it's interesting stuff. By the way, today is Marcus Rashford's birthday. He turns 27 today. We're talking a player who has scored over 135 goals for the team, and when you talk about players being in the hands of the manager, he's one of those players certainly Ruben Amorim will have to deal with, and how he handles Marcus Rashford, who clearly is not about to leave Manchester United, at least very soon, because of the nature of contract he has and how heavy it is, but also the potential we know that he's got. The thing is, Ruben Amorim has got again to find ways of making him perform. In fact, there are people who feel that the success of Ruben Amorim might depend on how he handles players like Marcus Rashford and whether or not he can, make him turn around his fortune, and be a successful player again with Man United. On Jadon Sancho, of course, questions have been going on, of course, flying around about whether Sancho will then return to the team. Of course, by without a shadow of a doubt, Jadon Sancho is supposed to return to Manchester United after his loan spell. Thing though is, will he return to leave when you can come back to go, or will he return to play? That's interesting, and I think Sancho might be a kind of player who could handle the Ruben Amorim style, by the way. But you get a feeling that if Ineos have chosen to move on from the past, the wrongs in the past, I think Sancho is certainly part of them. And you don't think it would look good to whatever project you're trying to build if you let go of the manager who fell out with Sancho and banished him completely from the club, and then another manager comes in and you instantly bring back the same kid because you cause still division in the team. You want to start on a clearly new slate. I was telling people consistently that if Man United could let could fail to could let go could lose Mason Greenwood for whichever reasons, right or wrong, I think they can really afford to live without Jadon Sancho, given his attitude, and certainly there are things about him that made the club accept to let him go as instructed by the manager. So for me, I think we can look beyond Jadon Sancho. We can focus on other players. I don't think United need to have Sancho back. Of course, I'll be back later to tell you more about the players. Of course, I've told you about the players reportedly wanted out by the incoming boss. But who then is he going to bring in? Of course, names are flying around already. And as you know, what the norm usually is, when a manager comes in, they want to first bring in players they have worked with before. So there are some names that are beginning to make rounds from Sporting Lisbon that Ruben Amorim would want to come with him and join him. Question is, how possible is this going to happen, and at what cost? That's the question, because quite some crazy junk of money is going to go in paying for the managers, for Amorim and his backroom staff. So it's a difficult place, including, but also you talk about the compensation for Eric Ten Hag, which is about 16 million pounds. So there's a lot of money that's flying around on the non-player department. But you have confidence in the fact that they already spent so much money in the last transfer window. So let's wait and see what is about to happen. My name is Webb. This is the United Sport. Like, share, and subscribe as we look ahead to what's coming and what the plan will be for Ruben Amorim upon arrival.